Hey, I'm Sophie, welcome. We will be in the Studio SE6 today. This is currently my office because when you're not a professional YouTuber, this is what happens. You completely forget to do your intro at the same time as your video. So just to let you know, this is a 25-minute core workout. We're going to get right into those deep core muscles. Hopefully you enjoy it. Please leave any comments in the boxes below. All you're going to need is a yoga mat and a smile. Let's go. Let's start sitting up nice and tall at the top of your mat, feet hip distance apart and knees bent. Reach the arms out in front, tuck the chin slightly. With an exhale, draw navel to spine and tip back to find the rim of your pelvis. Pause here, and with your next exhale, roll a little further to find the space behind your belly button. Again, take a small pause here. And then with your next exhale, let's roll all the way down through the spine to the back of the head. Taking a full body stretch, reaching the arms up and over, and exhaling, bringing the knees into the chest, hugging the shins or behind the thighs. Let's just roll around the sacrum here. Small circles, just massaging into the very base of the spine. Now bringing your feet to the floor, hip distance apart, a little away from your sit bones. Walk your shoulders away from your ears and take your hands to the front of your pelvis. The heels of your hands are placed on the bony hip points at the front there, and then the fingers point to the pubic bone. Inhale, rock your pelvis forwards and overarch your lower spine. And exhale, draw the navel towards the spine and then the lower back towards the mat, so flattening out completely. Inhaling, rock the pelvis forwards, overarching. Exhaling, draw the navel in towards the spine, lengthen out through the tailbone and flatten the lower back. Last one here, inhaling to rock forwards. So this position, this arched position here, we want to avoid when we're doing our abdominal exercises. Exhale, draw the navel in. And then lower the entire back down onto the mat. Lengthen out through the tailbone, but just make sure here that you're not tucking under so much that the bottom lifts away from the mat. Take your hands back down to your pelvis. Now with an exhale, as the navel draws towards the spine, see if you can feel the hip points draw in towards each other, creating tension at the point underneath your fingers in the very lower abdominals. Keeping that tension there, let's take the arms out to shoulder height. When you're ready, lifting your right knee over your right hip, left knee over the left hip. With an inhale, moving the right leg away from you, trying to tap the toes towards the mat. And then with an exhale, drawing the knee back in line with the hip. And going over to the left side. Making sure that you're not rocking the pelvis forwards. Just taking the leg as far as you can towards the floor. Maintaining abdominal control the whole time. Try not to just hinge here from the knee. Make sure that the leg moves forwards at the same angle and comes back at the same angle. Inhaling to tap the toes and exhaling to bring the knee back. Let's make this slightly harder, lifting the arms up now in line with the shoulders. Let's take the left arm back by the left ear, at the same time reach the right leg forwards. And then come back to center and change to the other side. Inhaling to reach away and exhaling to draw back. Keeping those abdominals engaged the entire time, imprinting that lower back down into the mat. So let's do a few more here. If you need to rest, you can bring the knees into the chest or take a full body stretch. Stay here connected to the breath. And last one. Well done. Bring the knees into the chest. Take a full body stretch, reaching the arms and legs away. And then let's come into what I'm going to call our eagle crunches. Bringing your feet flat to the floor and taking your right leg, extend the right leg up and cross it completely over the left. So the thighs are in contact the whole time. Taking the arms up, and we'll do the same thing with the arms. Taking the right arm over the left and either back-to-back forearms here or entwine the arms. If this is too uncomfortable, unwrap the arms, interlace the fingers behind the head and just draw the elbows slightly forwards in your peripheral vision, and you can curl up and down this way. Otherwise, with bound arms, look towards your elbow creases. With an exhale, curl the back of the head off the mat, tuck the chin slightly, curl the shoulder blades up and meet elbows to knees. And then slowly with an inhale, roll back down to the start. So we're moving very slow and steady, a full exhale to come up and a full inhale to come down. And maybe even slowing it down so it's a 4 count lift and a 4 count to lower. Again, modifying if you need to at any time. Maybe you can rest the top body and just work the legs instead. So this one's tough. Next time you come up, say hello to your abs. I can feel it. I hope you can too. We're just about to make it slightly tougher. Hold here, curled up, and just tap toes and then knee to elbow. Pull your shoulder blades around your body, opening up across the upper back. We have a few more here. Come with me if you can, or rest if you need to. Now hold on your next one in, elbows to knees. You're going to squeeze, and then unwind and hug the knees to the chest. Take a full body stretch here, just opening out in the abdominals, and then let's go with the other side. Bend the knees in, place the feet flat. Take your left leg up, cross completely over your right and bind those thighs together. Entwining the arms into eagle arms, or again, taking the hands behind the back of the head. Exhaling, tucking the chin slightly, curling up, meeting elbows to knees, and then slowly rolling back down. Good, staying with a nice steady breath. We're halfway done with these. Modifying if you need to. When you come up, feeling your lower ribs slide towards your hip points. This is your last one here. Now let's stay lifted and just rock the legs back and forth. Lift your shoulder blades a little higher if you can. Wrapping those shoulders around the body. Good, last one here. Let's hold knees to elbows. Oh, no, one more. Let's hold here, knees to elbows, and then unwind. Hug the knees in. Roll around the sacrum. And then place the feet on the floor, and we're prepared to roll up here to seated. So you can hold on to the backs of your thighs to help you up. You can press down through your forearms, or lengthen your legs away, take the arms up and overhead. Now exhale, bring the arms in line with the shoulders, tuck the chin. Again, you can press into the forearms and bend the knees here. Otherwise, with your next exhale, keep tucking the pelvis back, reach your fingers forwards to the front of the room, come up to seated, take a big circle around with the arms. Bring yourself to a comfortable seated position and let's start to warm up the wrists. Taking hold of one wrist firmly and just circling around the hand. Big full range of motion, circling one way and the other. And then let's go to the other side, just preparing our wrists here for our plank exercises and to bear weight. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms up, keep them there. Now push the palms up to the ceiling, pull the fingers back, and then pull the fingers down, making a duck's beak shape. So we're just moving between these two movements here, forwards and back. Circle the arms back round in front, and now let's clench and release our fists. Really spreading out through the fingers. Take this movement a little faster, warming up the forearms. And then wiggle the fingers here. And let's make our way onto all fours. Those exercises you can do anytime during your practice today if you need to roll out the wrists. Stack your wrists, elbows and shoulders. Spread the fingers and press down equally through the mound of every finger. Grip slightly with the fingertips, bring your knees under your hips, and let's take our right leg, extend it back behind you and lift the left arm out in front. Reach the arms up to torso height, reach out with the leg. Take the arms and leg to the corner of the room and then bring back underneath you, curling elbow to knee. So when we inhale, we reach out long, then to the corners of the mat, back to center, and exhale, hug the knee underneath the body. Really lift up here through the navel to the spine and create space for that thigh to come through. Try not to collapse into your shoulder blades or lower back. Stay strong and lifted in the chest. We're nearly there. Last one. And let's bring the hand and the leg down. Turning underneath with the right hand, taking a quick wrist stretch here on the right side and maybe rocking backwards and forwards if that's comfortable. Turn the hand back and let's prepare for the other side, starting in tabletop position. And let's take out the left leg and the right arm. Reach to the corners of the room, back to center, and hug underneath. So really trying here to keep stable in the torso without rocking forwards, backwards, to the sides. You want to really keep length in the crown of the head and out through the tailbone as you reach out and to the corners of the mat. Inhaling to reach away and exhaling, curl underneath. Keep it going here. Last one. Make this one count. Hug in and place the hand and the leg down. Again, taking a wrist stretch now for the left side, tucking the hand under, fingers point towards you. Rocking maybe backwards and forwards slightly here. And now let's make our way back into child's pose. So sinking your bottom back towards your heels here, just drag the arms in a little so the forearms can rest down and the forehead towards the mat. Take a deep breath in, expand the belly and the chest through the thighs. Take a big sigh through the mouth and bring yourself back to all fours. So preparing for our plank exercises now. And making sure you're not sagging between the shoulder blades here. So really lifting the chest up between the shoulder blades. Tuck the tailbone slightly, lift navel to spine. Modification is coming up in the top screen here. Take the right leg back, reach through the toes. Now bring the knee round towards the elbow and then hug underneath in a cat curl and extend the leg back. The entire time the leg is staying lifted. Making sure here you're staying strong in the arms. Hug the belly in as the thigh comes underneath you. And really create space for that thigh to come through as you pike up the hips. Push down through straight arms. Place the foot on the floor and let's press back to downward facing dog. So here we want full length in the spine. The heels are reaching towards the floor, but they don't need to touch. If you find that you're trying to straighten the legs and you're rounding in the spine, then bend the knees here and bring the chest back towards the thighs, allowing length in the entire spine. Let's rock forwards on an inhale, bringing shoulders over wrists to plank. Exhale, draw navel in, take it back to down dog. Carry on here, I'll show you a modification, knees to half plank, child's pose instead of downward facing dog, half plank instead of full plank. And you can just rock between those two movements instead. Let's just do a few more here. Keeping that belly button in towards the spine. As you come forwards into your next plank, shift your chest forwards, elbows bend back. You can lower the knees and bring the whole body down to the mat. Let's prop ourselves up onto our forearms here, coming into Sphinx pose. Elbows under shoulders, pull back with your hands so you can lift the heart and open the collarbones at the front. Now with an exhale, start to draw the navel in, lift the pubic bone and roll up the thighs towards the knees. Hold here. Really press down through your forearms and lift your chest away from the floor. Let's inhale and begin to roll back down through the thighs towards the pubic bone. When you're there, pull into your Sphinx pose. Exhaling, rolling back to your half forearm plank. And inhaling, rolling back to Sphinx. So a gentle stretch here for the abdomen. And again, rolling up with an exhale. Hugging that belly to spine. And inhale, rolling down towards your pubic bone. And now let's take our last roll up, either staying here on the knees or tucking the toes under, lifting the knees away from the mat by really extending out through your heels. Lift your chest here, try not to sag between those shoulder blades, lift the navel to spine and release the legs down. Let's sit back to child's pose here, again opening the thighs, allowing space for the chest and the abdomen. Take a deep breath in and a big sigh through the mouth. And we'll make our way now back onto all fours. And we'll take that same plank exercise we did on the right. We'll do this now on the left. So remembering the modification on the knees. Otherwise, let's take it back to a plank, making sure that the shoulders and the wrists are stacked. Lift up the left foot, point away, bring the knee round and underneath the body. Keeping that leg lifted the entire time. Reach long out through the toes. Hug the knee underneath and extend through the crown of the head. Working with your breath here. Inhale away. Exhale, knee to elbow and underneath the body. I'm going to modify for my last two, making sure you follow the modifications too if you need to. And let's extend the leg back, step back into our plank and rock back to our downward facing dog or inverted V. Remembering to bend the legs here if you need to find that length in the spine. Take an inhale with your exhale. Again, coming forward, shift the chest forwards or modify on your knees to bring yourself all the way down to the mat. Now let's take it over to our right side for our side forearm plank, stacking your right elbow underneath the shoulder and line yourself up so shoulders, hips and knees are in line with the back of your mat. Lifting from the underside of the waist, let's lift the hips up and extend out that top leg, balancing on the big toe. Take the top arm over the ear and reach away. With an exhale, drawing the elbow and the knee together, and with an inhale, lengthening out. So we can make this slightly harder by keeping that top leg to hip height the entire time, so the toes don't tap here. Good. Keep lifting now the underside of the waist. Make sure you're not sagging in the under shoulder, so you're really pressing down through the forearm. Lift away from the floor. And then hold here and release, bringing yourself down to the mat. Let's swish around to face the front. Sitting up nice and tall, just balancing here on your big toes, bringing your knees and your lower legs together. Holding on to the backs of the thighs, rocking back so you have a V shape between the thighs and the chest. Draw navel towards the spine, try not to collapse here into the lower back. Keep the chest lifted, and let's lift the right leg away from the floor and then the left. So these are your modifications here. Otherwise, we're going to take this a step further, make it more challenging, lifting both legs, glue the lower legs together, draw the navel in, reach the arms up and interlace the hands behind the head. Bring the elbows just into your peripheral vision and then start to lower that right leg away from you and then go with the left. So we inhale to take the leg away and we exhale to bring it back. Stay lifted here in the chest. Try not to collapse into your lower back. Hug the navel in and keep that leg moving at the same angle. Now let's give ourselves a big hug here before moving on. So we're going to do the same exercise again, but we're going to add a twist. So modifying, one leg always stays in contact with the mat. Otherwise, both legs are going to lift. Take the hands behind the head. Draw the navel in. Keep the chest lifted. Rotate here to your right. And as you do, take your left leg away. Try not to pull here on the neck. So keep the chest open. And then let's go to the left. So twisting to the left, tapping the right toes, twisting to the right, tapping the left toes. Think about just rotating your rib cage. Keep the hips facing forwards, keep the chest open. Last one's here. Come back to center. And give yourself a big hug. Well done. Now let's take that side plank on the left, bringing the forearm down and propping yourself up on your left elbow, stacking your shoulder over your elbow. Line yourself up with the long side at the back of your mat. And then when you're ready, let's lift those hips up, extend the arm and the leg away. Exhaling, knee to elbow. Inhaling to reach away. So again, you can tap the toes down or keep that leg lifted the entire time. Try not to drop into that underneath shoulder. So press through the forearm, lift up and allow space between the shoulder and the ear. Good, we have the last few here. Really reaching away with your inhale, creating as much length as you can. Now hold here, hold, reach, extend, and then bringing yourself back down onto your belly. So let's prop ourselves up again onto our forearms, stacking your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. Coming up onto your knees here, tucking the toes under, hug the belly in, tuck the tailbone slightly under. Let's extend back our right leg, so we're lifting the right knee off the mat and then bring it down and lift the left. So just alternating here between the two. If you want to make it more difficult, we can take both legs up and away from the floor and just lower one knee down, bring it back and then the other knee. So we're working here with both legs lifted. And just alternating sides, keeping the breath nice and steady. Stay lifted between your shoulder blades. So really lift the chest in between the shoulder blades, opening up across the upper back and pressing down through the forearms. Let's just do a few more here if you can. Good, and then both knees come down to the mat and lay down on your belly. Let's reach the arms out in front onto your fingertips, keeping the arms shoulder distance apart, and then just pressing into the hands here, maybe creeping the hands back towards you a little. Start to lift the chest, stretching the abdominals here. Slide the shoulders back and down towards the waist. And you can always, if there's too much compression in the lower back, just lower the chest a little more to the floor. Take an inhale, and with the exhale, start to roll down. And then let's press ourselves up to seated, with the knees bent here and the feet hip distance apart. So modifying this next exercise by walking down the backs of the thighs onto your forearms to help you down. Otherwise, arms extend in front, exhaling chin towards the chest and start to tip the pelvis back. Roll down through the spine. Take an inhale, we're coming straight back up. With the exhale, curl the back of the head off the mat, shoulder blades, tip the pelvis back and come all the way up. Inhaling. Exhaling. Let's roll back down. Slow and steady, inhaling, arms overhead, and then exhaling again. Reach for the front, tuck that chin slightly, tip the pelvis back, lift off the lower back. Let's roll all the way down. This time we're going to stay here. Take your full body stretch, swoop the arms around, hug the knees in towards the chest, and then place the feet on the floor, hip distance apart. Take the arms down by your side, shoulders away from your ears. Inhaling here, press through the feet, rock the pelvis back and start to roll up through the spine towards the shoulder blades. Really lengthen out through the front of the hips, knees over ankles. Inhaling here, and with an exhale, slowly start to roll the spine back down to the mat. Inhale, full body stretch or keep the knees bent. We're going to come up for our last roll up. Reaching for the front, sitting up tall. Inhale, exhale the arms around. Come to seated at the front and well done. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon.